All right, I want to invite our next panel up. I'm really excited. We're going to welcome back to the stage Mercedes Schlapp, who is one of our leaders at CPAC. She refuses to give me the full credit, or refuses to take the full credit for starting our Center for Combating Human Trafficking. But the reality is we could not do it without Mercy. And she is going to be joined by two of our very, very important partners you'll recognize. First is Eduardo Verástegui from The Sound of Freedom, and Kevin Wells, who works with the Sisters of Mary across international borders to help survivors. Mercy, please come up. We're excited to hear from you.
Hey. All right. How are we doing? Are you guys, seriously, this has been so powerful. It is so, so powerful. I just am meeting people from India, from Pakistan, from Brazil, Argentina, Mexico. You all are going to change the world. You all are going to save our children. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with me, come on, gentlemen, are two of my most favorite people, which actually, I feel like Eduardo's like my brother. He's like my telenovela brother. Mi hermano de la telenovela mexicana. And Kevin Wells, who I had the great opportunity, he's a great writer who I met at Chalco, in Chalco, Mexico, at the home, in this incredible facility that saves thousands of girls' lives. And I really want to talk about what they're doing there. But Eduardo, let me start with you. You have fans here. Viva Mexico!
Viva!
But you know, you are such an inspiration. It was really that movie, that Sound of Freedom, as we know, that brought this issue of human trafficking to the forefront like I have never seen. Tell us, you've mentioned this before, but tell us what inspired you, why it was so critical that everyone, not just in America, but across the globe, that they understand this humanitarian crisis that we're facing right now.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Matt, for this invitation. Grateful to be here in Washington, CPAC. You know, I met these great heroes 10 years ago in Los Angeles, California. These guys were, you know, U.S. agents, CIA, FBI agents, and when they told me, when they shared with me what they were doing around the world, rescuing children who were kidnapped for sexual exploitation, children from like 2 to 9 years old who were raped 10 to 15 times a day, every day for many years until they don't use them anymore because they're not fresh meat. That's what they say. That's what these perverts are saying. What do they do with these children? They go to the second market, the black market, organs traffic. They open them and they sell their organs. When I hear all that, and when they share with me that this is a global problem, especially U.S. and Mexico, U.S. #1 consumer of child sex in the world, Mexico #1 provider because of the location, I said to them, why, if you have the technology, the intelligence, the funds, the military, everything, why don't you finish this problem once and for all? And they answered me, because it's not a priority. And if it's not a priority, it's not in the agenda, it's not, we don't have a budget for that, therefore it's never going to end. Right. So what do we need? He said, well, I know what you need. You're the solution. No, we're not the solution, they said. We can save one child, 2, 3, 3,000. Thanks be to God. One is everything. Imagine that one is your children, your child, your son, your daughter. But Eduardo, this is millions of children. This is beyond us. We're not the solution. So what's the solution? We need a movement. We need to create a movement. Why don't we do a movie? Movie to movement. And that's what, you know, like opened my eyes, and I decided to make this movie. It took us 8 years. The first 4 years were the most difficult ones to make the movie, to raise the funds, to find the actors. Every actor in Hollywood said, you know, they passed. You know why? But they didn't want to be involved in this movie. And so Jim Caviezel, I asked Tim, who do you want to play you? And he said, Jim Caviezel, but he's taller than you. He doesn't look like you. He's older than you. It doesn't matter. He has the heart to make this movie. So I called him. He said yes. We cast him. We went to Colombia. We filmed the movie. And when the film was finished, I said, finally, the movie's coming out. All the experts in Hollywood, they passed. They say, no, this movie's never going to work. They told me all the reasons why this movie never going to see the light. You're never going to see this movie in a theater. This movie's never going to come out. And So for 4 years, I was traveling around the world showing this movie to everybody until one day someone told me, Eduardo, in Mexico, 53 children disappear every day. So every 20 minutes, we lose one. 20 minutes later, another one, and another one, and another one. 21,000 every year. Why don't you use this film as an excuse to raise awareness in every state? Right. So I called every governor from my country, and I said to them, this is not a political issue. This is a moral emergency. It doesn't matter if you're left, right, up, and down. This is about children. So imagine this little house full of children on fire. And this fire truck comes from this direction, this other fire truck comes from this other direction, and this driver tells this other driver, this is my territory. No, this is my territory. No, this is mine. No, you want the commission. No, you want the commission. No, you. And when they finish arguing, the children are dead. Yeah. What they should have done is when they got there, bring the how do you call it, mangueras de agua, water hose, whatever, and, extinguish the fire. Save the children, and they continue with the discussion, yeah. Right? So I said, Governor, in real life, we're talking about thousands of children. I want you to host a screening of this movie in your state. Invite everyone, invite the press, and let's sign an agreement to end child trafficking in your state. All of them say yes. So that's what I did for 4 years with one hand. With the other hand, I was praying to God for an angel to come and rescue this film, and I hear a phone call from Angel Studios. They picked the movie. The movie came out on July 4th, 2023. Against Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible, and then the miracle happens. Hollywood didn't believe in the movie, but the people did. It was #1 movie, in history, independent films produced by a Mexican. Thanks be to God.
I do want to say it was after watching that movie that and after our visit to CPAC Mexico and to Chalco, which Kevin's going to talk about, that it really, Matt and I prayed so much, and it put in our heart to start the CPAC Center for Combating Human Trafficking, which has grown into you all being part of this incredible family that we continue to expand globally. And Kevin, Matt and I met you. It was one of those moments of divine providence at Chalco. Here I see this gringo in the middle of Mexico, and then we start having this incredible conversation, and he is a prolific writer and is helping in all sense for the World Villages with the Sisters of Mary. You understand the solutions. Tell us about what the sisters are dedicated to, how they are involved in this prevention and healing process for the girls and the boys.
Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Eduardo, for being in the trench. Before I propose a solution, because it will come at you, and I'll very arrogantly say, as a writer, I've climbed mountains in Africa, I've been to Central America, I've been to Mexico, I've seen the face of the diabolical. And by the way, I want to say something. I'm an old Catholic, raised in a big Catholic family. I'm Irish, so I have this Irish imagination. I've always seen human trafficking. There's an expression in Catholicism, it's diabolical disorientation. Why do I say that? Diabolical. Because it is so evil. And yet, outside of the folks in this room, what Matt and Mercedes brought together, it's not being addressed. And boy, does Satan rejoice. Boy, does Satan rejoice. It's diabolical disorientation. I'll just say it, outside murder in the womb, it's the greatest evil Satan could conceive of. And it goes on. But the beauty is this, as Mercedes, thank you. There is a solution, and I will arrogantly say that I believe it is the best solution in the world today for escaped, trafficked, to prevent trafficking. Today, as we sit here right now, there are 21,000, so Eduardo's incredible movie that all of you, I imagine, have seen, one child was saved. Today, this moment, probably right now, there's 21,000 kids eating a grilled cheese sandwich, chicken sandwich, getting ready to play basketball. Mercedes knows this, Eduardo knows this, Matt knows this, because they've been there and they've seen it and they've wept. They've wept. Eduardo just told me a story. Maybe you can share it in a minute. Why do they weep? Why do they weep? Because the Sisters of Mary pull these little Lazaruses out of their tomb by entering into the most dangerous towns in the world, most dangerous villages, the most heavily trafficked villages in the world. They risk their lives. They've been held up at gunpoint. They've been kidnapped. They've been verbally accosted, assaulted. They don't care. Why don't they care? Because they're in a state of grace. There's 380 sisters, and they split the seams of mountains where human traffickers live, MS-13, doesn't matter what country, Africa, and they're saying, take me out. I'm going to go after the bullied ones. I got the bullied ones. And they take them back down the mountains, and they bring them into what Mercedes, Eduardo, and Matt know, these boys' towns and girls' towns, where they raise Lazarus back to life, and they become engineers, architects, lawyers, carpenters, doctors, priests, nuns, whatever, you name it. The sisters raised these kids to life. So when I was asked to write the biography on Venerable Aloysius Schwartz, the founder of Boys Towns and Girls Towns, the Sisters of Mary.
So Father Schwartz, I would describe him as like the Mother Teresa, but the guy version of Mother Teresa. That's a good way to describe him, right?
I'll shut it down. Yeah, he's a superhero for the poor. He's Mother Teresa for the poor. I want to ask Eduardo, if you don't mind, I'm sorry.
Are you taking over my
it's
role?
my old journalism.
Goodness. Okay, now.
I told you I was arrogant. Eduardo and I just had a nice conversation on the balcony. He told me a story about God's mercy and what happens at places like Chalco, where there's 3,100 girls right now that the sisters have saved. I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you mind telling the story of what happened? Eduardo told me he's been there 10 times, of what happened on the stage that day. And
can I set the scene real quick? So Chalco it looks like a university campus funded, and they don't even have enough funds to basically school, and they learn how to play sports. They learn how to dance. They learn how to be healthy kids, and it's all centered around the faith. The way those children are committed to God, and what these 50 nuns do to help these over 3,000 girls is something like I've never, ever seen. And they learn all the necessary skills to succeed in life, many of them coming from homes of abuse, many of them fleeing from human trafficking in the jungles of Latin America or in Africa. And it was that moment, Kevin, when Eduardo gave those girls one of the most powerful speeches I ever saw in my lifetime. So I really do want you to share that moment, because it was something that I think definitely the Holy Spirit was present.
Oh, thank you, Mercy. Before I share the story, I just want to recognize one person that Sound of Freedom became Sound of Freedom because of many people, especially our investors in Mexico. But there's one here who he saved our movie when we needed the most help, and that's Bob. Bob, please stand up, brother. Thank you, hermano. Thank you for being part of the mission. And for more information about what we're doing with Sound of Freedom Foundation, just go to soundoffreedomfoundation.org, soundoffreedomfoundation.org. Anyway, so we were in Chalco together, Matt, you. It was the first time for you guys, right? And it's very impressive. I mean, please, I beg you to go to Mexico City and then go to Chalco and visit this place.
There's CPAC in Mexico in November, which will give you the dates and everything else.
What day is it? The 15th and 16th. 15th and 16th November. Mexico City, CPAC, and then if you all come, we'll go to Chalco after CPAC. Anyway, so when you go there, you see like 3,000 girls, sometimes 4,000, between 12, 15, 16, and I was there, and I was talking to them about movies, about, my life, and then I was about to leave, and then I remembered that someone told me that there were a few girls out there who were trafficked, rescued, and some of them were abused. Violencia sexual doméstica, domestic sexual violence, and they were very wounded. And literally, I was leaving, and then I remembered that, and I came back, and it was quiet, and I saw all of them, and I said, listen, I grew up in a very macho culture. I was taught that the real man is a womanizer, playboy, Latin lover, Casanova, liar. And I bought that lie. And for many years, I cheated on all my girlfriends. I used them as objects. I hurt them until I turned 28, and I met this wonderful lady, my English teacher, who changed my life. And she asked me, Eduardo, would you like to have a daughter one day? And I said, yes. What kind of a man you would like your daughter to meet so she can have a family? And I described a saint, Saint Joseph, a perfect man, loyal to her, faithful to her, put her on a pedestal like a diamond, treat her like a queen, die for her. Are you that man? Excuse me? Are you the man that you describe? Well, there is things here. No, the whole thing. I'm not. Why do you want a man like that for your future daughter when you're not that man for the daughter of someone else? Ay, ay, ay. Ni el abogado de O.J. Simpson te salva de esta, no? Not even the best lawyer will save you from this one. So she left, and that moment, you know, my eyes were open, and I made a promise to God that I will always treat every woman the same way how I would love my mother to be treated. And my life changed. And the reason why I'm sharing this with all of you, I said to all these girls, is because I know that maybe some of you, don't raise your hands, but maybe some of you have been hurt by a man, or more than a man, more than one man. If that's the case, maybe you still have wounds in your hearts that have not been healed yet. And if that's the case, I want to tell you something. And I got in my knees like this. And then I said to all of them, in the name of all men, I want to apologize. Please forgive me. And I saw 3,000 girls crying. And I started to cry. Because I believe that they didn't see me anymore. They saw in me all those men who hurt them that never apologized to them. And then when we closed our eyes, I said to them, please, if it's very hard for you to forgive right now, please ask God to help you to forgive so you can be free. And please pray for all men around the world so they can become the men God created us to be. And I stand up. And for 1 hour, I was just hugging them after, and it was the most beautiful experience of my life. And that's what happened that day, Mercy.
Yes. And
the power of forgiveness, the power of forgiveness, you know?
And I see back, all the way back there, Raul and his beautiful wife, Gabby, who we love so much, they are such as their family really is the one that supports Chalco and all these amazing girls. Raul and Gabby, I see you back there. Wave to everybody. They are truly just the heroes in supporting the Sisters of Mercy, of Mary. I say Mercy because I'm Mercy. But Kevin, I'm really curious here. Can a model like Sisters of Mary work in the U.S., right? There's this huge emphasis on foster care. Yes, we have maternity homes here. But is there a chance for these nuns, these incredible sisters, to come to the United States and bring their mission here to the U.S., where so many children are being abused or being put in a situation in foster care where they are, you know, the parents or the adults are drug addicts? What is that possible?
Yeah, hopefully I won't belabor your question, because that is the question. The answer is yes. It's yes, because they want to. They want to. Eduardo and I were talking yesterday. The Sisters of Mary want to be in every country in Central America.
Where are they now?
So they're in 7 different countries: Honduras, Guatemala, Brazil, Mexico, but they're also in Tanzania, Africa, the Philippines. But what has to happen first, Mercedes, and man, do I invite Frank and Kevin Malone and anyone who wants to come down, I beg you, I'll facilitate, come down to see what exceptionalism looks like. Like, give the sisters money, like whatever, they'll take care of the rest. They'll pull out the wound, they'll coach them up, they'll teach them, they'll die to themselves to raise these boys and girls up to life. But if you went down and spent 3 days and saw the work of resurrection, you'd say, man, let's get this thing to America. Because we got the hollers of West Virginia, we got downtown Chicago. Get this stinking thing to America, because it's raising children from the dead. It's real, it's raw, and I'm telling you, I believe, because I'm a writer, I'm a journalist, I write books and articles, I don't know anything that addresses human trafficking with this type of model throughout the world. Maybe there is.
And Father Schwartz's story is so fascinating because he lived, I mean, it was back in the 1950s after the Korean War, where he goes to Korea and finds about 100,000 orphans. Their parents died in the war. They were in the worst conditions. And what does he do after that?
He was like Atlas putting every bullied kid on his back. He said, you don't have love, you don't have parents, they died in the war, get on my back. I'm going to build you boys' towns and girls' towns. So it began after the war, and because he was a superhero for the poor, it broadened. As Eduardo knows, God works with people in the trench, in the grind. So God took care of him. He gave his life to Our Lady, Mary, and Mary said, I'm going to keep getting you to build these humble kingdoms of the resurrection. Today, there's 16 throughout the world.
I hear very strongly in our prayer life, and we consecrated CPAC and our family and our businesses to Our Lady of Guadalupe, and she's really expanded so much of our work into the globe and into helping save these children. I think, Eduardo, you talked about your faith and how strong of a part that is. You know, what do you tell other people here? I mean, these people are in the front lines, but what else should we be doing? What else should, even here, the American government, what else should we be doing right now to help in combating human trafficking?
Well, there's so many heroes here, freedom fighters who are doing that, and I want to, acknowledge them. Rosy Orozco, a Mexican hero. Please stand up, Rosy. We have Nancy there. Nancy, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Matt and you, you guys just allowing us to bring CPAC to Mexico, you're giving so much hope to Mexico in this moment where we are kidnapped by this communist. We're tired. Enough is enough. And the Mexican people are waking up and they want to change. And you guys are giving us a big hope, because United States and Mexico, we're not just neighbors. We should be brothers and sisters. So we can make Mexico and America great together again. Together. So it's possible to end human trafficking. Of course, it's possible. I promise to God that I will dedicate my entire life to end child trafficking, because God's children are not for sale. And that's why I'm going to be making Sound of Freedom 2. Matt is going to be a producer with us. And it's going to be an amazing movie, better than the first one. Nancy's going to be a producer as well. And it's just, it's a surprise. Stay tuned next year, Sound of Freedom 2, because a movie comes and goes. What's next? The most important is the legacy that you leave behind. And I just beg every one of you, do something. Whatever it is. I remember when these people told me, Eduardo, you know what? You didn't know anything about this before, but now you know. And now that you know, we'll be very sad if knowing what you know, you do nothing. Yeah. Evil triumphs when good people remain silent. So here you know. Please do something. Whatever is in your hands, ask God. Use me as an instrument to protect your children, my little brothers and sisters. And trust me, He will use you.
He will use you. Kevin Wells, to wrap up this session here, this panel, your final thoughts, where you see this movement going, what needs to be done, why is the media continuously ignoring some in the media, because we have some great partners with us here, but some of the media just don't address this issue enough.
Well, yeah, the media, I was a member of the media professionally for 10 years. They often do not see the forest through the trees, and the forest are kids that are being abused in unspeakable ways. So, I don't really see it. So we'll talk about other things. It's just minutia, because they see it as too broad, too comprehensive, ideological. We all know that that's a lie of the devil. Again, diabolical disorientation. The media is like, that's the devil. By the way, Satan hates this room. He hates this room because we're fighting him. So what I'll say, Mercedes, is this. I do think the answer is it's three things. It's awareness that it is a plague unlike anything we've seen. It is finding money from publicly funded money to build these centers of care that I've seen all over the world, because it works. So build them. The sisters will handle it, or maybe other folks will. They get it. It's a grind. They're white, they're blue collar martyrs. I mean, they are blue collar martyrs. You got to die if you're going to get into this work because the wounds, you got to scalpel them out and it takes years. And when you finally get that wound out, then the graces come in and then you become an orchestral musician and an architect and a doctor. So awareness, money, build them, and the sisters will take care of it from there. I got information on the back. I have my biography. It's a free gift to you. Please go to the back table. You'll learn all about the Sisters of Mary.
Yes, well, thank you all so very much. It's an honor to be Eduardo, my sweet brother, and Kevin Wells. Such a blessing, and we hope to see you in CPAC Mexico, and then have a visit with us at Chalco, which is an incredible place.
One last thing. I think the most important thing we can all do, please stand, is pray. So, because I know that there's Catholics, Protestants, Jewish, I want to ask you if we can do 1 minute, just 1 minute, and then we'll leave in silence, asking God to end child trafficking. 1 minute. Close your eyes and let's ask God to help us to end child trafficking.
And let's hear an amen.
Amen.
All right, thank you all.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.